everyone. Welcome to episode number 4 of the GemmaDarlingDaily podcast. I'm Danielle. Today I've got some fun stuff for you. It's not going to be a very long podcast. I think we've all had a very, very tough week here in America. So we're just going to take it easy and enjoy our knitting. I have a couple finished objects to share, which I'm really excited about because I rarely finish an object. And they're kind of fun. They're wearable, you know, they're ridiculous. Anyway, I cut my hair and it's a mess. So it's up this week. Let's see if I can keep my hands out of it. What else? We'll go over some finished objects. You know I have stash enhancement. I mean, I am a yarn-aholic. And so you know how podcasters usually tell you what they're drinking at the beginning and things like that? I don't drink things. I eat. I eat bags of chips that I find at TJ Maxx. This is delicious. I can't really tell if it's delicious if I'm just blindingly hungry, but they're good. So, okay. Let's just jump into it because I have been trying to find time to podcast for the past couple weeks and I just haven't been able to. So today, I actually had makeup on and I said, I might as well just do it. Okay, so I finished my leg warmers. I finished them. They're actually like a finished object. Okay, holding them backwards. I mean, they still have strings, so I guess they're not finished, but they're finished. Like, I can use them. I'm so excited. Just want to like go turn on the Flashdance soundtrack and, you know, go a little crazy. Just kidding, maybe. Anyway, this was the, I forget what the pattern is. I'll put it in the down bar. Tiny Owl Knits. I've been talking about it for the past 3 podcasts. I loved the knit. And look at this. It has a really, really beautiful texture. And I really like them. I'm happy with them. I'm excited. And they're going to be huge on me because, as I told you before, I had to rewrite the pattern and make them bigger, and I don't know why I did that. Anyway, last week, not last week, I think it was a couple weeks ago when I podcasted, I cast on the Ava Jean hat by Orange Knits, and it was the most fun knit. It's so simple, and it's beautiful. I mean, look at this. It's all just twists around the entire hat. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Here, you know what? I lied. Touching my hair. I don't know. I think it's a little small on me. I'm not really a hat person. People with bangs are not really hat people, but I liked making it. So, there you go. So if I need a hat for anything, there you go, I have one. Okay, we're just going to leave the hair down now because I'm not going to wrestle with it anymore. I got the pom-pom at Do You Knit in Westfield, New Jersey, my local yarn store, which I just absolutely love it there. I love it there. Anyway, this is in Hedgehog Fibers Teacup, and it's in DK, and it was a super quick knit, and the pattern has all different sizes. So you literally like measure your head and then go for it. And there's children's sizes and adult sizes. And I loved it. I think I'm going to make a couple more. Because I think it looks pretty. It looks like you really, it looks like a tedious knit. And it wasn't. Every row you just move the marker one over so that it keeps spiraling. And I mean, if I can, you want me to take the pom-pom off. Take the pom-pom off. I can get it off quickly here. You can see the top is this beautiful spiral. It's a beautifully written pattern. It really is. Here you go. Look at that. And as most of my objects, I have to weave in the ends still, but it's done for the most part. I consider things done when I no longer have to look at the pattern. So that's my definition. What what do I have next? So those are my finished objects. Yes, I know. I'm really excited. You know, we all start knitting with good intentions, and you know, sometimes life happens and you put down your needles and you just have to keep remembering to pick them up again and finish what you started. And I did. I'm proud of myself because I don't finish things. Looking at my show notes. We can go into some of my whips. Now, some of my whips are kind of in the whip graveyard because, you know, just not excited about them anymore. Well, I'm still excited about this one. I just didn't have time to do it. So it's really at the same place that I showed you last time. This is my scarf blanket. I'm still putting in the Madeline Tosh cactus flower. I couldn't remember it. It's gorgeous. It really is. I think I'm going to order a bunch of skeins of it and make it a big cowl for myself out of it because I really like the way it's knitting up. So again, here's where I am. That's the wrong side. We don't want to see the wrong side. Here we go. And again, I had it on a 60-inch cable and I did not like pulling it along, so I put it on a shorter cable. So, I mean, it's going to get way bigger when I'm done. Way bigger. I think it's 60 inches across. But as I said, you're going to be seeing this one for a while because it's just something if I like a chunky yarn, I buy it and I throw it into it. You know, it's my version of the Cozy Memories blanket. I don't knit enough socks to make a Cozy Memories blanket, or even whatever one's starting now with the crochet granny blanket with the with you know your sock minis, which is gorgeous. I really love that. And I have a lot of sock minis. I mean, I could start one, but let's not start stuff. I have a couple things that I started and I really like to finish stuff. I have my outline shawl, which was the pattern from the free pattern on hedgehogfibers.com. Here, my zipper. And I had chosen all my colors for it. And I don't know if it's just me, if I should leave it and pick it up next summer, because it's more of a summer knit. It's really light. I mean, it's just so slow because it's sock yarn and you're making something huge. So, I mean, this is Hedgehog Fibers and Damnation, and it's beautiful, but it's taking so long, and it's so much counting for me with the baby, you know, being right there. I can't do all that counting. The things that I make kind of have to be intuitive, which I really liked about the Ava Jean hat. You know, you pay attention to the pattern, and the next row was like pretty much copying what was already there. You know, all the knits were there, all the pearls, and you just copied it along and then again did the pattern. So it was simpler for me to do because on those rows where you just copied things, it was mindless. I could put it down. But this I can't really put down. I don't know if I'm going to frog it because I think this yarn has already been in this, you know, it's been knit for months now and it would just be wasting it. So it may just be something that I come to time when I feel like doing it. I love the colors I chose for it. And I would like the finished object, so we'll see if I can ever get to it. This will be my marathon knit, let's put it that way. So for right now, it's just going to stay in its little sheets bag. You know, I buy sheets, I get these, I put yarn in them. I put yarn in anything. Yeah. We have that whip. Then we have this whip, which you've seen 1,000 times. Though I think this might be my on-the-go knit because I really like it. The lighting is so bad this time, guys. I'm so sorry. I wanted to podcast earlier in the day and I had zero energy. Zero. My mom and I took Francesca on all these errands yesterday, and it's like errands times 100 when you've got a 7-month-old with you. And she's a really good baby, too. I mean, she literally did not cry once, but having to stop every hour and either give her a bottle or feed her or change her, it adds to it. It's hard. So today I was a little bit of a zombie. But again, this, I love it. And it's the pattern I'm using for my scarf blanket. And I'll put it in the down bar because, again, I don't remember it. I don't remember it. Sorry. Oh, it's Christian Scarf. Christian Scarf. Remembered it. So that one, I don't want to take up too much time on this stuff because you've seen it 1,000 times. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm going to try to finish it for the holidays, and maybe it'll be a gift for someone. I'd really like to give Francesca's pediatrician something. She is an incredible doctor, and she really, she takes care of her, and I appreciate that because when you're a new mom, like literally she sneezes and I call the doctor. So she puts up with me. Okay, so that was so I was thinking about this, and tell me what you think. So the outline shawl is going to be my marathon knit, as I just said, this one. But I really like the pattern. I'm just having trouble with the sock yarn because it takes so long to knit an inch. And I really, as you see, like the bulkier yarn because it's just quicker. And I am the kind of person who just needs to see results right away, I guess. So I was thinking about doing the outline shawl, but with DK. Because I have so much hedgehog DK and it's just exquisite. And I think it would look beautiful. I think I have all of those colors in DK and I should just, or even worsted, it would be like a blanket. I'm liking blankets. My dog takes all my blankets, so he right now is probably laying on a pile of 9 blankets, and when I lay on the couch with him, I have nothing. That's okay, because I want him to be comfortable. But maybe that's why I'm obsessed with making blankets lately, because I just want one of my own. So I think I might do that. So maybe next week we'll talk about colors for that. I may use the same colors or I may use other ones. But I did manage to cast on something, and I did it last night actually. While the baby was sleeping, I sat in the hallway in between all the bedrooms because that's where I could put on the light. And I cast on my fringed shawl. It's a Stephen West pattern, and I've just been wanting to make it for a while now. So I actually printed this out, I don't know, like a long time ago. So it's fringed by West Knits. And it's this fringy, semicircular shawl. All different colors. I mean, if you're making something from West Knits, you have to use color. I mean, I saw Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast. She did her exploration station in very muted colors. And I mean, she paired the most gorgeous, gorgeous colors. And it looks exquisite. And Laura, I think her name is Laura from Jinx Yarn, she made one that was like tones of greens, I think, and that one was incredible. But when we think of Stephen West, we think of color. I mean, that is what he, exudes. So when I pick one of his patterns, and this is my first, but when I pick his patterns, I feel like I have to use color. It's just the rules. So I don't know which side is the right side and the wrong side. I don't care. This is what I have so far. And so people use socks and they make their little mustaches. Well, I guess I have a little frown or a smile. Okay, I'm losing it. This didn't take me that long. And this was a garter tab cast on, and I had no idea how to do a garter tab cast on. And when you first see it done, it's scary. Like, you really think, I can't do that. But he has a Craftsy class that I bought. I think it was $15 or $20, and he walks you through top-down shawl making. And so I watched the first episode, and he literally did the garter tab cast on, and I just paused it and ran my finger along it in slow-mo so I could see him do it, and I got it. It's not so hard. I think a lot of things are scarier when you read them. You read your pattern and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? But then when you see it done, it's not so hard. It's probably harder for him to write it out and describe it than it is for him to show it. So I really enjoyed the first episode of the Craftsy class. I haven't watched any others yet. And this is not the shawl they're making on that class, but I figured it would just help me. And I was right so far. So that's it so far. And I picked a whole bunch of colors to go with it. So let's go through them. Of course, they're hedgehog, and they're merino singles, which is their worsted weight. And it's a single ply yarn, which I really like because I tend to knit through the twists, you know, and I don't like to do that. So this is hedgehog in spell. This is jelly. This is shamrock. This is oracle. Okay. And then I got some graphite just to ground it all. And I don't really know what I'm going to use where, but I think I'm understanding the pattern enough to make it bigger than the pattern calls for. I've kind of mastered the counts and how many you need to go into this row. And, you know, he said the stitch count on this is not, it doesn't really hold you to it. You know, the pattern doesn't really hold you to it. So if he says repeat this for 9 rows and I want to repeat it for 14 rows, as long as I end up with a row that I think is a stitch multiple of 3, I can go into the next part. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really study the pattern so that I can make it my own. Beata from Hedgehog Fibers, she made one and it's on Ravelry. And if you want to take a look at it, it's her fringed shawl and it's huge. And she said, when people asked her, how did you make it that large? She said, I just kept knitting, just keep knitting. And so I'm using 1 needle size bigger than the pattern calls for, and I'm using a thicker yarn than the pattern calls for. And I think I'm even using more colors than the pattern calls for. So we'll see how that turns out. As of right now, I'm loving it. Loving it. I mean, we buy these beautiful skeins and you never know how it's going to knit up. And I mean, how much fun is this? I know my lighting is so bad this week. I'm so sorry. I keep saying that. I actually wanted to podcast from the park that my house is near. I just haven't had a chance and it's kind of gotten cold. So, but that's my fringy. And as of right now, I'm using that with my Yarnet. So, this is Jeannie. No, the colorway is Jeannie. My Yarnet doesn't have a name. I could give her a name. Yvonne. Whatever, we'll go with Yvonne. All right, so that's that. That's most of my stuff. I'm blowing through it this week because I know that you guys watch a lot of podcasts and I really appreciate everyone who's coming back to watch me week after week. And if you're new, thank you so much for coming by and taking a look at my podcast. Again, I'm trying to bring a lot of new things to it. I want to do some cooking, some sewing. I just, with a 7-month-old, really hard. So bear with me. She'll grow up one day. Won't need me to hold her all the time. So let's talk about one more thing and then I'm going to let you go. So I was looking at Debbie Reese's Instagram today, and she was talking about how she's starting her Rhinebeck her Rhinebeck sweater. And I had been wanting to start my Rhinebeck sweater. So I picked a sweater. It's called the Portage sweater. I'll insert a picture here. And I can't pronounce the woman's name. I think it's Melissa Skaskawari. I don't know. I am sorry. I probably just butchered that. But if you look me up on Ravelry, I'm GemmaDarling, and it's going to be in my works in progress. And I'm not going to cast on until December, but because I want to finish my fringe shawl and a couple other things. But I picked up all the yarn, and I got 10 skeins of yarn for it, just in case, because you never know how many skeins it's going to take. It calls for DK yarn, and it says it was 7 to 8 skeins, but if I knit tight, I may need more, and so I grabbed them just in case. And you know me. It's like, I'll always just put it in my stash anyway. So this is what I chose. I chose the Madeline Tosh DK. Yeah. Mad Tosh Merino DK in Whiskey Barrel. Okay, so it's a very, very tonal brown. Every skein is different. It's got some like ambery kind of reds in it. It's gray, it's brown, it's all different things. And I just think it's just going to be a sweater that goes with so much. So this is my first sweater and I'm excited. So Debbie is going to host a, Start Your Rhinebeck Sweater Now, Cal, on her Periscoping Sisters Ravelry group. There should be a thread in there. Join it. Knit along with us. Start your sweater. People always say, that they don't finish their sweater on time. Start now. It's cold. Knit a sweater. So that's what we're doing. And here's my yarn. I have so much more of it. I'm not going to dig it out. And look, I didn't even put my yarn in these today. I am so tired. Anyway, let's talk about stash enhancements, and then I'll make my PSA, and you can be on your way. So let's see. I kind of enhanced my stash just a little bit this week. Wow. Maybe a little bit more than they thought. Okay, in my defense, it's been like 2 to 3 weeks since I've podcasted. I wasn't gonna buy yarn. I really hope my husband doesn't watch this. Okay, so yesterday I was at Do You Knit and I saw this. Oh, tell me that is not gorgeous. Seriously. This is, I didn't even look at the tag. Oh my God. Oh, it's Pancake and Lulu. Okay, so it's Pancake and Lulu. It's called Grape Must on the Pancake Bulky. It's beautiful. It's a really unique colorway. I haven't seen many like this. I just think it's so different, and that makes my heart happy. So, bulky. It's going to go right in the bag because I think that's going to go in next. Did I pull it all out? Okay. When I was ordering for my Rhinebeck sweater, I went a little bit of Mad Tosh DK ape shit. That's right, it's an ape shit. I told you I might curse on this podcast. You didn't listen. Anyway, it's beautiful. So this one I thought was really cool because this one is firewood. And I thought that if I wanted to edge my Rhinebeck sweater in something, just a couple tones of amber, just a little bit of a richer version of the Whiskey Barrel that I'm using, I thought this might be pretty. It's a little purpley. I don't really like some of the purpley tones in it, but it's really, really gorgeous. So I got 2 skeins of that because, of course. Then I got 2 skeins of this one that I had been eyeing and I couldn't find. It's called Mandala. It's like purples and turquoise. It looks a little greenish. It's so beautiful. And I don't know. I think I might make a really pretty shawl out of this. But of course it's going to have to wait because we're working on other stuff and I am going to finish the fringed. But I don't think I'm going to be upset with whatever this makes. It's beautiful. And I got this in DK also. DK seems to be my weight right now. I'm very happy with it. There are a lot of yarn weights, and some people really like sock yarn and fingering weight, sport weights, but I don't know, maybe I'm just impatient. Maybe because I make bigger objects, I'm not really into making socks, though I am going to cast on a pair because I've never made a pair of socks and I'd like to. But I think Sarah from Love Sock Wool, she is inspiring me to try socks. That woman is obsessed with socks. She's adorable. And I think I'm going to try it. But, that might wait. That's something, I feel like that's something you knit sitting next to a fire, but that's just me. So, Then, let's see, I ordered some more bulky from Stitch Together Studio, some more My Little Pony, because I loved the way this came out. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful mess of turquoises and purples. And that's going to go in there. And then this one is called I Miss Your Face. And I think that's just a sweet sentiment, but I really like the gray and the pink together. And then it's got some shots of yellow and orange. So I got 2 of each of those. Oh, and then I got, this just never ends. So Nomadic Yarns has this colorway called Glitter Bomb, and it's golds and pinks and creams, and the woman from Nomadic Yarns, she tried to make me one, and she said it came out a little pink, and she emailed me and said, do you like it or do you want me to re-dye it? Which I thought was so wonderful of her to ask me instead of just sending it out. But look how beautiful this is. It's gonna knit up really fun. So I told her, send it along. It's unique. I love unique skeins. So that'll go in there. I still have a bunch sitting down here. So if you're getting sick of this, well, I don't think you'd watch my podcast if you were sick of yarn. So let's keep going. I had to buy some more DK because I just really, really love the Hedgehog DK. And I bought some Bramble. And this I think I'm going to use in my outline shawl. We'll call it Outline Shawl 2017 because I'm going to start it in the new year, I think. And this is a colorway that I had from the old one, but I'm going to use it in the new one. And then I thought originally was going to buy this to go with this. This I never could get my hands on, and it's gorgeous. It's called Nutmeg. This is incredible. This is a beautiful, beautiful skein of yarn. And it's a really good colorway if you're making something for your husband or your brother or your son. You know, it's got greens and ambers and browns. It's really tonal, but it's masculine. I would wear it. I love it. I think it's beautiful. See it again. Okay. And then my last DK acquisition is Pinky Swear, which I don't know, I might have this, but I bought another one. There you go. And so these 2 are going into my outline shawl because these are what I picked in my original colorway bag. So I just have to find the other 3 colors. Oh, I have a teacup. I have teacup. Okay, so I only need 2. I need Swamp and Damnation. Okay, so those. Almost done, I swear. And then there's one that I've been eyeing for a while. This is Purple Rain. So I don't know what I'm doing with this, but this is a merino single, so it's nice and fluffy and squishily. The Hedgehog merino singles are beautiful. It's a really, really fluffy yarn. It's rich. They're beautiful. And this one is called Ink. And I very rarely see ink. It's got so much lint on it because they were in when I bought them at Do You Knit, they were in a cubby hole with all the other yarns, and it's got so much lint on it. So anyway, that's Ink. And then of course I bought another teacup, but this time it's in a merino single. Oh my God, it's really being blown out. I'm so sorry. And that's it. That's it. You know, that's it. My stash enhancement. That's it. As my husband said, I can buy yarn as long as I keep knitting, and I have been knitting a lot. So, I think that's it. You know, as I said, it was a really, really tough week for us here in America. A lot of us are really disappointed, scared. I don't really know what to say. You know, there are a lot of us that fight for our rights on the front lines, you know, our wonderful servicemen and women, and I think it's time for us to start fighting for our rights here at home. A lot of people think your vote doesn't count, and it does. It does. You know, Hillary may have lost the Electoral College, but she won the popular vote, and they are still counting, and they think she's going to be up by over 2 million votes. And we need to fight. If we don't think the Electoral College is working for us anymore, then we, the people, need to change it. Because this is our Constitution, and it's a living, breathing document. And it's meant to be changed with the times. That's why our forefathers wrote it that way. So, to those of you that are happy with what happened, congratulations. We're trying to be gracious losers. I don't know that it's easy this time because it kind of seems like hate and fear mongering won, and that's not acceptable. So, as I said, we have to start fighting here at home. I guess what I'd like to take from this election and from my candidate is just be kind to your fellow American. You know, we're all Americans, and we're all here because we love this country, whether we agree with the government that's in power at any given time or not. And so if someone comes at you and you see fear or anger or bigotry in action, speak up, fight it. Gotta fight. We gotta fight for our fellow Americans. We gotta fight together. I don't really know much more to say about that. I don't like to get political, but I think with what just happened and having a 7-month-old daughter, you know, she's all I can think about. On a lighter note, I dressed her up in her red, white, and blue. I took her to the polls, and she pushed the buttons. And I don't even know if that's okay, but I felt for this election it was really important. And she's not going to remember it, but I have pictures outside the polls, not inside, because that's illegal. We took pictures, and I just hope she's someone who always votes. You know, a lot of women died for us to have the right to vote. And even if you don't like any of the candidates, it's your responsibility to pick one because one of them is going to win. So, you know, they work for us. So you pick one and then you make them work for you. You have to. In this age of social media, you can contact people, you know. I guess that's all I want to say about that. I probably could go on for hours. I'm just very frazzled by it. We'll see what happens. Let's stand together as a nation. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful week. I wish you a week full of knitting and cast-ons and finished objects and happiness and preparing for the holidays. And I guess that's it. So I'll see you next time on Gemma Darling Daily. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Bye-bye.